So, hello to those of you who have already joined us. We still have about 10 minutes before we start with today's workshop. So, you can just join in and get ready. We will start sharp at 5 p.m. Hello, Sangeeta ji. Hello, Hinal ji. I hope I'm completely audible and my desk is visible to you all. Hello, Sonia ji. Hello to everyone who has already joined us. So this session will be a 1 hour session, and yes, we got a lot of questions about whether we are doing a yeast-free recipe. So no, we are doing a big yeast recipe, which is a classic burger bun recipe. The only thing is that we're making it healthier by using whole wheat flour. So that's the plus point of this workshop. Hello, Bharti ji. So, meanwhile, while we are waiting for the other participants to join in, quickly let me know amongst all of you, how many of you already know how to bake breads or buns, or if you've ever tried baking them. So, आप में से कितने लोग ऐसे हैं जिन लोगों ने कभी ब्रेड्स या buns बेक करे हो या ट्राई करा हो बेक करने का एंड कैसा रिजल्ट रहा आप लोग वर यू सक्सेसफुल या देयर वर एनी इश्यूज दैट यू फेस्ड. So these things will help me also sort those issues for you in this workshop. So अगर आपने कभी कोई issues face करे हैं या कभी भी bread नहीं बनाए और आप first time बनाना सीख रहे हैं तो आप मुझे जल्दी से बता सकते हैं in the chat box. Okay, so Fatima ji has tried. That's great. What about others? What about Sonia ji? What about Bharti ji? Sangeeta ji? बाकी लोग क्या है आप लोगों ने कभी ट्राई किया है या नहीं किया है तो लेट मी नो. Okay, Divyanji has also made breads. That's great. Oh, Safia ji has also tried, but she says it's always a flop. Don't worry, Safia ji. I'm sure after today's workshop, you'll be easily be able to make very, very good breads. So rest assured. Good evening, Harjeet ji. How are you? How is everyone doing? I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope you're having a wonderful evening. So in my city, it has been a little cloudy since morning, so a little relief from the summer. How is it at your place? बाकी लोग क्या कैसा weather है? मेरे यहाँ सुबह से थोड़ा cloudy है, तो weather अच्छा है. Otherwise बहुत गर्मी है. So that's quite a relief. What about you guys? Hello Shalini ji, hello Manisha ji. Um, Okay, so Divyani ji is saying once it was successful, but many times it was flop. So there are certain tips and tricks whenever we are baking breads or buns. And I am going to be sharing all of those with you in today's session. I'm sure if you keep in mind those things, you will get very good results. So आपको अच्छे ही results मिलेंगे अगर आप उन चीजों का ध्यान रखें. So I hope that really helps. So it's cloudy at your place also. That's great. I think everybody has been praying for some rain and some clouds because it's been so hot across the country. Divyanshi, we will not be sending any recording since it's a live workshop. So we encourage people to come live and attend it live with us. Though since a lot of people asked us for the PDF or the recipe for today's session, we are going to give that to you. It's actually in the description box of today's workshop. So you don't have to worry about the recipe at all. Just watch the session, enjoy the process, understand the concepts, and rest assured that you are getting the recipe because it is already there in the description box of the video. Okay, so hello Sagarji, hello Vinayaji. So we have lots of people who have already joined us. We are just going to start the session in another 2 minutes. Hello PPG. So a very good evening to all of you, to all the lovely people who have joined us for today's workshop. It's already 5, and without wasting any further time, we are going to quickly start with today's workshop. So आप सभी का स्वागत है आज की वर्कशॉप में एंड आज हम सीखने आए हैं हाउ टू मेक होल व्हीट बर्गर बंस एंड बिना बिल्कुल भी टाइम वेस्ट करे हम आज का सेशन स्टार्ट करेंगे बिकॉज इट्स 5 ऑलरेडी. So before we start with today's workshop, I know there are a lot of people who have joined us for the first time. So I'm going to quickly let you know what the workshop is going to be about and how we take it. Before that, let me quickly introduce myself. So मैं जल्दी से अपने आप को introduce कर देती हूँ. So my name is Chef Tanya. I'm the founder of the Grace Kitchen, and I am a baking and a cooking instructor. I am glad to let you know that I've taught over 10,000 students and I have over 75 plus workshops on baking, cooking, and of course, this year the focus has been much more around healthier baking, and that is what we are doing. So this workshop is also dedicated to healthier burger buns. So I'm sure you would have had the regular burger buns which we have from the market, which are loaded with maida, with chemicals, preservatives, and a lot more things. But this workshop is entirely going to be free from any sort of chemicals, preservatives, and maida too, since we are going to be learning how to make whole wheat burger buns. So आज के सेशन में हम whole wheat burger buns बनाना सीखने वाले हैं. So hello to everyone. Hello Mukta ji. Hello Monica ji. Sonia ji, I'll talk about that. Hello Neelam ji. Hello Seema ji. So hello to everyone. So since you already now know what the workshop is about, I'm going to quickly dive into the session with the recipe and with the techniques that we're going to follow. So बिना time व्यर्थ करे हम जल्दी से workshop में चलते हैं. I'm going to teach you the process and I'm going to tell you the recipe as well. So मैं recipe भी पूरी आपको साथ साथ समझाती जाऊंगी और आपको पूरा demo दिखाऊंगी. Just make sure that you have a pen and a paper handy so that you can keep taking notes wherever possible so that you don't miss out on the tips and tricks that I'll be sharing with you. So मैं आपके साथ काफी सारे टिप्स और ट्रिक्स शेयर करने वाली हूँ. मैं नहीं चाहूंगी कि आप उन पे यूज आउट करें. सो अगर पॉसिबल हो तो आप एक पेन और पेपर हैंडी रख सकते हैं सो दैट आप वो नोट्स ले सकें. Since a lot of you requested for the recipe PDF, we have already added the recipe PDF in the description box of this video. So you can easily download the recipe PDF once the workshop is done. So workshop हो जाएगी उसके बाद आप आराम से रेसिपी पीडीएफ को डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं जो कि ऑलरेडी डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में प्रेजेंट है. So having said that, I'm now going to quickly start with the process. So we are here to make whole wheat burger buns. Now there are few ingredients which are integral and super important to make very good, soft, fluffy whole wheat burger buns. So I'm going to quickly show that to you on the other camera. So मैं आपको जल्दी से अभी दिखाऊंगी कि कौन से की इंग्रेडिएंट्स होते हैं जो कि हम ब्रेड बेकिंग या बंस में यूज करते हैं, जिनके बारे में हम बात करेंगे. एंड लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द वर्कशॉप. Yes, so before I start with the process, I will be speaking everything in English and Hindi since we have a mixed group of people. So क्योंकि हमारे पास एक mixed group of people है, English and Hindi speaking दोनों हैं. So I will repeat everything in both the languages. मैं दोनों ही भाषाओं में पूरा course repeat करने वाली हूँ. So you don't have to worry about that. In spite of that, if you miss out on any instruction or anything that you feel that you want me to repeat, अगर कुछ भी ऐसा है जो आपको लगता है कि आप miss out कर रहे हैं या फिर आप चाहते हैं कि वो मैं रिपीट करूं, तो जस्ट एड इट टू द लाइव चैट. आप लाइव चैट में वो चीज डाल सकते हैं. एनी क्वेरी, एनी एक्सप्लेनेशन, एनी रेपिटेशन, जस्ट कीप पुटिंग इट इन द लाइव चैट. सो वीडियो के नीचे एक लाइव चैट का ऑप्शन है, जहां पर भी आपको कोई क्वेश्चंस हो रहे हैं, कोई भी डाउट्स आ रहे हैं, आप उसे वहां पे डाल सकते हैं. So with that, I'm going to quickly start the recipe. And I will start taking your questions in between. So काफी सारे questions already आने start हो गए हैं, but मैं बीच-बीच में आपके questions साथ-साथ लेती जाऊंगी. पहले हम recipe सीख लेते हैं. So let's first start with the recipe. So the first and the foremost, most important ingredient whenever we are making whole wheat breads or buns or any sort of breads or buns is the yeast. So सबसे important जो होता है वो यहाँ पे yeast होता है. This is the yeast that I use. So मैं जो yeast use करती हूँ वो ये है. It's Eagle's instant dry yeast. Eagle brand का instant dry yeast मैं यहाँ पे use करने वाली हूँ. Other brands which you can use if you are not able to get Eagle because sometimes it's out of stock on Amazon. So कभी कभार Eagle जो होता है वो out of stock रहता है Amazon पे. तो अगर आपको Eagle brand का instant dry yeast नहीं मिल पा रहा है, so the other good options are Angel. Angel एक और brand है जिसका आप instant dry yeast buy कर सकते हैं. Then there is Prime, आप Prime का buy कर सकते हैं. And then there is Urban Platter or Urban Platter. So first and the foremost is to use good quality yeast. सबसे important part होता है bread baking का yeast. तो yeast अच्छी quality का होना बहुत important है. आप कौन से brands buy कर सकते हैं? आप Eagle brand buy कर सकते हैं, आप Angel brand buy कर सकते हैं, Prime कर सकते हैं, और इसके अलावा Urban Platter भी कर सकते हैं. So these are the brands that you can refer to whenever you're going for purchasing yeast. So the first step is super simple. We are going to just take some yeast. हम सबसे पहले थोड़ा सा yeast ले लेते हैं. So this comes in these pouches of 11 grams each. 11 grams के ये pouches में आता है. We will not need the whole thing. हमें पूरा use नहीं करना है. हमें जितना चाहिए हम उतना ही use करेंगे. I'm going to first of all start by adding some lukewarm water in this bowl. So सबसे पहले roughly around 1/4 cup हम यहाँ पे lukewarm water ले लेते हैं. All you have to do is just dip your finger and check the temperature of the water. So जब आप इसमें finger dip करें, the water should feel warm. Water warm लगना चाहिए, but it should not be too hot that you have to immediately pull out your finger. So पानी इतना गर्म नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपको immediately उसमें से finger pull out करनी पड़े. बस इतना ही होना चाहिए कि आप जब उसमें finger डालें तो आपको warm feel हो. You're able to feel the warmth in the water. The second thing is the food for yeast, which is sugar. So sugar जो होता है वो food होता है yeast का. We have added 1 tablespoon of regular granulated sugar. हमने normal regular जो granulated sugar होता है जो हम घर में शक्कर use करते हैं वो यहाँ पे 1 tablespoon add कर दिया है जो कि food होता है yeast का. And then comes in the yeast. अब हम यहाँ पे yeast डालेंगे. We need 1 teaspoon of yeast here. So हमारे को यहाँ पे 1 टीस्पून के लगभग yeast यहाँ पे चाहिए. So we have 1 teaspoon of yeast with us, which we will simply add over here. And the rest of the yeast goes into the fridge immediately. जब तक आपने yeast खोली नहीं है, पैक्ड है, तब तक इसको रूम टेम्परेचर पे रख सकते हैं. जैसे ही yeast को खोल लिया, इसको एक एयर टाइट कंटेनर में ट्रांसफर करके फ्रिज में डालना है. So till you have not opened the yeast pack, you can store it at room temperature till it's airtight. Once you have opened it, you have to immediately transfer it to an airtight container and transfer it to the fridge. I will show it to you how to store in the fridge. Sure. Fridge में कैसे store करना है, वो भी मैं आपको भी दिखाऊंगी. So let's first give this a toss. इसको हल्का सा हम mix कर देते हैं. Let's just give it a light mix. This process is known as yeast activation or yeast proofing. इस process को हम yeast activation या फिर yeast proofing के नाम से जानते हैं. And you will just cover it lightly. आप इसको हल्के किसी भी lid से cover कर सकते हैं. So you just have to cover it with the lid and let it rest for at least 5 to 7 minutes. 5 से 7 मिनट के लिए इसको rest करने देते हैं. Now I'm going to start taking some questions and then I will come back and explain this further process to you. So I baked a wheat bun too, but it wasn't soft, so I want to learn from you. Sure, Sangeeta ji, I can guarantee you that you're going to make very soft buns after this workshop. Wheat buns are dense in nature. So Sonia ji, if you compare it to a maida bun, yes, it is dense in nature. But if you feel that it will be too hard to eat and a hard bun, so no, it will not be hard. It will be denser as compared to a maida bun, but not very hard also. सो हार्ड नहीं होगा ये बन बिल्कुल भी, स्पॉन्जी होगा, सॉफ्ट होगा, लेकिन अगर मैदा की बन से कंपेयर करें तो डेफिनेटली डेंस होगा बिकॉज वी आर नॉट यूजिंग मैदा एट ऑल. गुड इवनिंग मीनू जी. Are we supposed to follow along? No, Mohita ji, you don't really need to follow along. You can just watch the session, understand the process, and try out the recipe later. The recipe is already present in the description box of the video, which you can download later. Puramate is not the most reliable one, Fatima ji, so I will not recommend using Puramate. Water, 1/4 cup हमने लिया है, Sonia ji, 1/4 cup water. Yeast that I am using is Eagle brand instant dry yeast. I already showed you the pack. Yes, it is instant dry yeast. No problem, Neetu ji. You can just join us. We have just started with the workshop, activated the yeast with some warm water and sugar. That's all that we have done. Okay. Hello everyone. Okay. So now while my yeast is proofing, I will quickly explain the process of yeast and a few important things because yeast is the most important component while baking breads. So जब हम ब्रेड्स बनाते हैं, यीस्ट सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट कंपोनेंट है. अगर यीस्ट ही सही नहीं होगा तो ब्रेड बिल्कुल भी अच्छी नहीं बनती है. इसलिए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट है यीस्ट को समझना कि हम कौन सी यीस्ट यूज कर रहे हैं, उसे कैसे यूज करना है और कैसे स्टोर करना है. So the whole process of understanding yeast is very, very important. So first of all, there are 3 types of yeast in the market. One is instant dry yeast. Instant, by the name of it, means that you don't really need to proof it. You can add it to your dry ingredients and start using it instantaneously. But we would never do that. We would always proof it separately before using it with the rest of the dry ingredients. The reason behind this is that if by chance my yeast has expired, if by chance it's dead, it's not working, my whole dough will get spoiled if I have not checked onto the yeast. Okay. That is why checking the yeast is always a good idea, even if you're using instant dry yeast. So instant dry yeast का जैसे कि नाम है instant, इसका मतलब ये होता है कि आप इसको directly अपने dry ingredients में add करिए और use कर लीजिए. पर हम ऐसा कभी भी नहीं करते. हम हमेशा इसको सबसे पहले separately proof करके check करते हैं. चेक करके क्या रिजल्ट होना चाहिए मैं अभी आपको दिखाने वाली हूँ. ऐसा ना करने पे रिस्क रहता है कि अगर डो में वर्क नहीं किया, अगर बाय चांस यीस्ट खराब हो चुका है या वर्क नहीं कर रहा है तो पूरा का पूरा डो स्पॉइल हो जाता है. बट अगर हमने अलग से पहले यीस्ट चेक कर लिया, सो वी नो कि यीस्ट तो सही था हमारा, राइट. So if your yeast is working and you've checked it separately, there is very less risk of the dough not working well for you. Okay, so that is the reason number 1 why we have to always, even when we are using instant dry yeast, proof it and see. Number 2 is active dry yeast. Number 2 पे जो होती है वो होती है active dry yeast. I should that to use that. So this is active dry yeast. I have it from Urban Platter. I use this yeast also. It's very good, very reliable. So ये भी अच्छी yeast है, काफी reliable है. And this comes in this airtight pack like this. So this is how the yeast looks like from inside. And I always store it in the fridge because it's open now. So क्योंकि अब मैंने इसको खोल लिया है और थोड़ा सा use कर चुकी हूँ, तो इसको हमेशा मैं फ्रिज में ही स्टोर करूंगी for a better shelf life. Now, how is it different from instant dry yeast? Is that active dry yeast will also be activated exactly the same way. The only difference is that this active dry yeast will take about 15 minutes to get activated. So instant yeast को 7 to 8 minutes लगते हैं. एक्टिव ड्राई यीस्ट को लगभग 15 मिनट लगते हैं एक्टिवेट होने में. दैट्स द ओनली डिफरेंस. रेस्ट एवरीथिंग, ऑल द स्टेप्स स्टिल हियर रिमेन द सेम. ठीक है. सो बाकी सब क्वांटिटी, स्टेप्स, प्रूफिंग जो भी हो रहा है सब सेम रहेगा. The third type of yeast is the fresh yeast, which is usually available at bakeries. So bakeries में fresh yeast available होती है. It has a very less shelf life. उसकी shelf life काफी कम होती है. But अगर आप वो use करना चाहते हैं तो उसको आपको double quantity में use करना है. So by chance, if you want to use fresh yeast is usually available on bakeries. Fresh yeast will be used in double the quantity of instant or active dry yeast. So for example, I'm using 1 teaspoon of instant dry yeast. I'll be using 2 teaspoons of fresh yeast if I wish to. Activation remains the same. यही सेम तरीके से आप उसको भी एक्टिवेट करोगे, सिर्फ क्वांटिटी डबल हो जाती है जब हम फ्रेश यीस्ट के साथ काम करते हैं. So are the 3 types of yeast clear for everyone? Yes, Neetu ji, dry yeast is always a good idea because dry yeast has a better shelf life. You can easily store the yeast in the fridge for up to 4 years. अगर आप freezer में store करेंगे yeast को, तो आप 4 साल तक store कर सकते हैं, उसको use कर सकते हैं. I have yeast in my fridge which have been sitting for more than 3 years and they are still good to go. So yeast को अगर हम freeze कर लेते हैं, dry yeast को, तो हम उसको ज़्यादा सालों तक use कर पाते हैं, long duration, इसीलिए वो better रहती है as compared to fresh yeast. Neena ji, you cannot make this recipe without yeast, and we are not doing a without yeast recipe today. The recipe today is 100% with yeast. Which wheat flour to be used? Anaga, I'm using Ashirvad Aanta. मैं Ashirvad Aanta use कर रही हूँ, which is the regular whole wheat flour that we use at home. You can use any other brand also. आप किसी भी brand का whole wheat flour use कर सकते हो. Will active dry yeast give same results? Yes, 100% active dry yeast gives exactly same results. The only thing that changes is the time duration for activation. Will instant dry yeast give same result or other type of yeast? Yes, instant and active both work in the same way. My preferred is instant. मैं हमेशा instant prefer करती हूँ, but आप दोनों में से कुछ भी interchangeably use कर सकते हैं. Can we use curd instead of yeast? No, Prema ji, इस वाली रेसिपी में हम curd use नहीं कर सकते. How long can we store in the fridge after opening the instant active dry yeast? Up to 4 years. आप freezer में store करेंगे, fridge में नहीं. फ्रीजर में आप आराम से स्टोर कर सकते हैं अप टू 4 years. आप 4 साल तक भी स्टोर कर सकते हैं. How to use active dry yeast? Does it need proofing? Yes, active dry yeast, like the name suggests, active means you have to activate it. So you basically just activate it exactly the same way that I showed you for instant. So जैसे instant को किया वैसे ही active को भी करें. Why does active dry yeast take longer time than instant dry yeast, as you said? So active dry yeast basically has bigger particles, and that is why it takes longer duration to get activated. Instant dry yeast are very, very fine particles, just like suji or semolina. So जैसे सूजी के छोटे छोटे दाने होते हैं वैसे होते हैं instant dry yeast के, इसलिए जल्दी activate हो जाता है. Active dry yeast has bigger particles, cylindrical shaped bigger particles, and that is why it takes a little longer. So इसलिए वहां पे ज्यादा टाइम लगता है. Okay, can we store yeast in the freezer? Yes, you have to store yeast in the freezer for a better shelf life. So basically it depends. If you want to use yeast within the same year, what happens is yeast is used in very less quantity. So if I wish to use it within the same year, if the quantity of yeast is yet less, then you can store it in the fridge. But if the quantity of yeast, I'll show you the pack that I use, which I have in the fridge. It's a big pack of yeast. Big jar of yeast actually. So if you have this big jar of yeast and you wish to store it, then you will have to keep it in the freezer because इतना ज़्यादा yeast आप बहुत जल्दी use नहीं कर पाएंगे. So इसको freezer में ही store करना पड़ता है और 3 से 4 साल आराम से. Okay. So I hope all of those things have been answered. Meanwhile, our yeast has also activated. So यहाँ पे देख लेते हैं हमारा जो yeast है वो भी activate हो गया है. It's become super frothy as you can see. आप देख सकते हैं इसकी quantity बढ़ गई है, एकदम frothy and bubbly हो गया है. I will show you with a spoon as well. So this is how it's going to be like. It's going to become super duper frothy. So आप देख सकते हैं काफी frothy और bubbly हो गया है. This is how your yeast should look like after 7 to 8 minutes. 7 to 8 minutes के बाद ऐसा yeast दिखना चाहिए. Active use कर रहे हैं तो 15 मिनट बाद ऐसा दिखना चाहिए. So if you're using instant dry yeast, this is how it should look after 7 to 8 minutes. If you're using active dry yeast, This is how it should look like after 15 minutes. If it doesn't look like this, avoid using it, buy a new pack and start again. So अगर आपका yeast ऐसा नहीं दिख रहा है, आप एक बार retry करें उसी yeast के साथ, फिर भी अगर ऐसा नहीं हुआ तो आप सिंपली उस पैक को हटा दीजिए और नए पैक के साथ स्टार्ट कर लीजिए, बिकॉज देयर इज नो पॉइंट वर्किंग विद एन एक्सपायर्ड yeast. सो अगर ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है, मतलब या तो पानी ज्यादा गर्म हो गया, उसके लिए आप एक बार रीचेक कर सकते हैं फिर से फ्रेश वाटर के साथ. बट अगर दूसरी बार भी नहीं होता है तो फिर आप उस वाले यीस्ट के पैक को हटा दीजिए और फ्रेश यीस्ट के पैक के साथ स्टार्ट करिए. So our yeast is activated now. Now we will start with mixing in all our dry ingredients. अब हम अपने dry ingredients mix कर लेते हैं. So over here we have 1 cup of whole wheat flour in grams. This is 150 grams. So 150 यानी कि 150 ग्राम हमने यहाँ पे आटा लेना है. 150 ग्राम आटा है यानी कि 1 कप आटा है. ठीक है. So this is 150 grams of आटा. Regular आशीर्वाद आटा is what I'm using. So मैं आशीर्वाद का रेगुलर आटा यूज कर रही हूँ, नथिंग फैंसी, कुछ भी अलग टाइप का ब्रेड फ्लावर या कुछ और चीज हमें यहाँ पे यूज करने की बिल्कुल भी जरूरत नहीं है. So that is what we'll add. Second thing that we'll add, which is important here, is milk powder. अब हम जो next चीज इसमें add कर रहे हैं वो है milk powder. Milk powder is somewhere around 1.5 tablespoons, which is 12 grams. हमने यहाँ पे 12 grams milk powder add किया है. The milk powder that I'm using, I'll quickly show that to you as well. So milk powder, मैं Nestle Everyday का milk powder यहाँ पे use कर रही हूँ. You can use any other brand also. आप किसी भी brand का milk powder यहाँ पे add कर सकते हैं. Milk powder is basically used to get soft breads because we are using whole wheat flour, because it's a denser flour. So just to add some softness in the buns, we have used the good old milk powder. So milk powder को हमने basically as a softener use किया है ताकि थोड़ा सा buns हमारे और soft बने. अगर आप milk powder use नहीं करना चाहते हैं तो आप पूरा का पूरा डो milk के साथ भी बना सकते हैं. So if you don't wish to add milk powder to the recipe, you can simply skip it and rather use whole milk, warm milk to make these buns instead of water, and you get softer results. So उससे भी आपको काफी अच्छे और soft results easily मिल जाएंगे. So now you just add in some salt. अब हम यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा salt add कर देते हैं. This is just for flavoring. About 1 teaspoon of salt is all you need. So 1 कप आटे में 1 teaspoon नमक काफी रहता है, जिससे एक अच्छा flavor आ जाता है. If you wish, you can add further more flavors at this point. You can add garlic powder, onion powder, parsley, you can add oregano, red chili flakes. So आप इसमें काफी सारी चीजें डाल सकते हैं. आप इसमें red chili flakes डाल सकते हैं, oregano डाल सकते हैं, garlic fresh डाल सकते हैं, garlic powder भी डाल सकते हैं, onion powder डाल सकते हैं. So you can actually flavor your buns in so many ways by simply adding those herbs here. So जो भी herbs आप डालना चाहें आप यहाँ पे डाल के flavor कर सकते हैं अपने buns को. So once the dry ingredients have gone in, we are going to simply add in our yeast mixture. So हमारा जो yeast का mixture हमने तैयार किया था, यहाँ पे proof किया था, उसको हम यहाँ पे add कर देते हैं. Let's first add in the yeast water. So this already has sugar. इसमें already sugar डाला हुआ है, and we will need some more warm water on the side, which we will require while kneading. So इसको combine करने के लिए हमें थोड़ा सा और यहाँ पे warm water required है, जो कि हम एक बोल में लेके साइड में रख लेते हैं. We gradually incorporate it as and when required. So जितना जितना चाहिए होगा हम साथ साथ warm water इसमें ऐड करते जाएंगे. So we'll first start mixing everything. एक बार सारी चीजों को अच्छे से मिक्स कर लीजिए. Right now we only have 1/4 cup of water in this, which was the original water that we had used for activating the yeast. So originally जो हमने पानी लिया है एक्टिवेट करने को yeast के लिए वो 1/4 कप लिया है. अभी हमने केवल उतना ही यहाँ पे ऐड किया हुआ है. Now we will gradually start adding more water. तो अब हम इसमें gradually धीरे धीरे और पानी incorporate करते जाएंगे. Now the whole idea is that you want to make a soft and a loose dough, but it cannot be very runny also because we want to make buns out of it. So क्योंकि हमें shape करना है इस dough को, buns बनाने हैं, तो बहुत ज्यादा loose dough भी नहीं होना चाहिए और बहुत ज्यादा tight dough भी नहीं होना चाहिए. ज्यादा tight dough लगाएंगे तो buns hard बनेंगे और बहुत ज्यादा लूज डो हो गया तो buns शेप ही नहीं हो पाएंगे. So you will not be able to shape the buns if your dough is very runny or pasty, and if your dough is super stiff, then you will get hard buns, which I could see is a common issue from the comments that we got. So एक common issue जो है dense buns का, hard buns का, वो तभी होता है जब आप प्रॉपर लूज डो नहीं बनाते हैं ब्रेड्स। So since we are working with whole wheat flour, hydration is key here. So hydrate करना यानी कि पानी डालना, उसे इनफ पानी देना ताकि स्पेस मिले आटे को फूलने के लिए, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. So it's really integral that you give enough hydration, enough water to the dough so that it's able to expand properly and it's not very stiff, because that will then give you quite hard buns. So you have to gradually keep on adding the water. The dough will be slightly loose as compared to your roti dough. So हम जो घर पे रोटी का डो बनाते हैं उससे loose dough बनेगा. This is how it's going to be like. It's going to be a shabby dough. So थोड़ा सा इसको हम shabby कह सकते हैं. थोड़ा सा shabby सा डो हमारा यहाँ पे तैयार हो जाएगा इस तरह से. It will be a wet dough. Wet है, yet it is not loose. आप देख सकते हो loose नहीं है. It's just sorry, runny नहीं है, loose है. So it's a loose dough but not very runny dough. And this is exactly what we want. Now all you need is some oil on the side. अब आप यहाँ पे ऑयल ले लीजिए. यू कैन ऑल्सो टेक बटर इफ यू लाइक. अगर आपको थोड़ा बटरी फ्लेवर चाहिए तो आप यहाँ पे बटर भी ले सकते हैं. एंड वी विल ग्रेजुअली ऐड इन द ऑयल and incorporate it into the dough. So हम यहाँ gradually oil add करेंगे little by little and अपना dough लगाना start करते हैं. So we start by adding oil little by little. Oil whenever added after water will result in softer results. Whenever oil is added before the water, it will give you crispier results. Since we are making buns, we want them to be super soft. Therefore, we have added oil after adding in the water. So जब भी पानी ऐड करने के बाद ऑयल या फिर फैट ऐड करते हैं तो उससे सॉफ्ट रिजल्ट्स मिलते हैं. जब भी हम उसको पहले ऐड करते हैं तो हमें क्रिस्पी रिजल्ट्स मिलते हैं. इसीलिए हम ऑयल जो यहाँ पे ऐड कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हम बंस बना रहे हैं जिनको हम सॉफ्ट बनाना चाहते हैं. सो दैट इज वाई हम इसको बाद में ही ऐड करें. So now all you have to do is you have to start kneading the dough. अब आपको gradually अपने हाथ में भी थोड़ा ऑयल लेना है and थोड़ा थोड़ा ऑयल आपको डो पे भी डालना पड़ेगा and then इसको gradually knead करना है. Now comes in the second most important process while making breads or buns, which is kneading the dough. So अब जो सबसे important step है वो है knead करने वाला. This is so very important that if you don't do it correctly or do it less, you will not get soft buns. So अगर आप सॉफ्ट बंस बनाना चाहते हैं और अगर आप ये प्रोसेस प्रॉपर्ली नहीं करते हैं तो आपको सॉफ्ट बंस बिल्कुल भी नहीं मिलेगी. Now quickly understand what we are doing over here. So आप जल्दी से समझ लीजिए कि हम बेसिकली यहाँ कर क्या रहे हैं. We are basically stretching the dough forward with this portion of our hand. So हमारा जो हैंड का पाम एरिया होता है उसके जो नीचे का पोर्शन है उससे हम आगे डो को स्ट्रेच कर रहे हैं. एंड विद आवर फिंगर्स वी फोल्ड इट बैक. और फिंगर्स से हम इसको फोल्ड कर लेते हैं. We turn it, हम इसको वापस से टर्न करते हैं. Again we stretch it forward and we fold it back. This is known as the stretch and fold technique. इसको हम stretch and fold technique भी कहते हैं, which is used to basically activate the gluten in the dough. So जो हमने यहाँ पे डो यूज किया है, आटा यूज किया है, उसके अंदर ग्लूटेन है. उसको एक्टिवेट करने के लिए हम डो को एक्सरसाइज करा रहे हैं using the stretch and fold technique. So you have to go very very gentle with the dough. बहुत ही हल्के हाथ से आपको करना है. आगे की तरफ स्ट्रेच, पीछे की तरफ फोल्ड, टर्न करना है, रिपीट करना है. यू विल कंटिन्यू टू डू दिस स्टेप फॉर एटलीस्ट 10 मैक्सिमम 15 मिनट्स. कम से कम 10 मिनट तो करना ही करना है और मैक्सिमम आप इसको 15 मिनट तक भी कर सकते हैं. सो यू कैन डू इट फॉर अप टू 15 मिनट्स. जस्ट कीप ऑन डूइंग इट ग्रेजुअली. आप इसको धीरे धीरे करते जाइए. This process, like I said, activates the gluten in the flour. Gluten is basically a protein which is present in our wheat flour, in our maida flour, and it is required to be activated because once it's activated, it will give the dough a stretchy texture, which will then trap all the air being released by the yeast in the dough. So yeast का काम होता है air release करना. और ग्लूटेन का काम होता है जैसे ही ग्लूटेन एक्टिवेट हो जाता है वो एक स्ट्रेची सा नेटवर्क फॉर्म करता है डो के अंदर जो कि उस एयर को ट्रैप करता है. सो इसीलिए ग्लूटेन और यीस्ट हैंड इन हैंड वर्क करते हैं एक ब्रेड डो में. इसीलिए डो को नीड करना, प्रॉपरली नीड करना और ग्लूटेन को एक्टिवेट करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. So that is why activating the gluten is so very important because we want to make sure that there's enough activation of gluten and the structure of gluten is good enough to trap all the air being released by the yeast. So yeast जो air release कर रहा है अगर उसको trap नहीं किया तो buns fluffy और soft नहीं बनेंगे. इसीलिए ये step बहुत ही important और integral होता है in bread making. So since we are working with whole wheat flour, we have to do it for at least 10 minutes with maida because it has no gluten. You can easily do this within 7 to 8 minutes and you're good to go. So क्योंकि हम whole wheat flour के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, gluten कम होता है, तो इसलिए प्रोसेस में ज्यादा टाइम लगता है, 10 से 15 मिनट लगते हैं. अगर आप मैदे के साथ काम कर रहे हैं तो आप 7 से 8 मिनट में भी डो तैयार कर सकते हैं. So I am going to just do this for about 7 to 8 minutes more, and meanwhile I will start taking some of your questions. So अभी तक जो भी हमने प्रोसेस किया है उससे रिलेटेड जो भी आपके क्वेश्चंस हैं आप चैट बॉक्स में लिख सकते हैं. I'll start using. Shalini ji, nutritional yeast is used for flavor. It is not used for baking. So nutritional yeast is kind of a vegan substitute for cheese actually. So उसको हम usually baking में as a rising agent use नहीं करते हैं. So we don't use it as a rising agent. How much warm milk can we use instead of milk powder? So you are not using warm milk instead of milk powder in the same quantity. When you're replacing milk powder, you use same quantity of milk as water. So जो इतना पानी हमने यूज किया है उतना ही आप मिल्क यूज करेंगे, पानी को स्किप करेंगे अगर आप मिल्क पाउडर यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं. The only drawback when you are kneading the dough with milk is that it will have a shorter shelf life. तो जब आप मिल्क से डो लगाओगे उसकी शेल्फ लाइफ कम हो जाती है, लगभग आधी हो जाती है as compared to when you knead it with water and you use milk powder. So milk powder use करने से shelf life better रहती है and that is why it is recommended. Can we put butter instead of oil? Yes, Neetu ji, absolutely you can. How much milk should be added? Same quantity as water. So 1/4 cup of milk for activating the yeast. 1/4 cup milk आपको activate करने के लिए use होगा yeast को, and बाकी का milk आप kneading में use करेंगे. So the rest quantity of milk or water, how much you have to use is not fixed. You may need only 1/4 cup, you may need up to half a cup. So बाकी का डो लगाने में कितना पानी यूज हुआ है या कितना मिल्क यूज होगा ये हम एकदम सर्टेनली नहीं बोल सकते हैं बिकॉज हर आटा अलग होता है, हर आटे की पानी पीने की या मिल्क पीने की कैपेसिटी अलग होती है. So every flour, works differently. If I'm using Ashirwad atta, maybe it's using up to half a cup of water to knead it and to bring it together. But maybe when you are making with any other brand, for example, Silver Coin or any other brand, it may use only 1/4 cup. So it completely depends on the water or milk absorbing capability of the flour. So we can't really, fix that quantity. You will have to gradually add it. And I showed you the texture, how the dough looks like. That is how you will know. Sangeeta ji, what you're asking for, I couldn't understand. What next? How much oil or butter are we using? So basically, we require between 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil or butter, which is about 30 ml or 30 grams. So 30 grams या फिर 30 ml oil या butter आप use करेंगे. लगभग 2 से maximum 3 tablespoons आप यहाँ पे use कर सकते हैं. Basically, oil is acting as a tenderizer. It's going to make your dough super soft and supple. You can see my dough has no cracks now. So अब आप देख सकते हैं कि डो में कोई भी cracks नहीं है, काफी smooth हो गया है डो. And ये oil की वजह से. This is because of the oil. Because like I said, oil is basically acting like a softener here, which will make the dough super soft. Which is the purpose of oil whenever we add it after water. So जब ऑयल हम पानी के बाद डालते हैं तो ऑयल का काम है टेंडराइजर का, जो कि वो यहाँ पे खूबी कर रहा है. Can we make मैदा buns with this recipe? 100%. आप सेम क्वांटिटी में मैदा यूज करके ये मैदे के साथ बना सकते हैं. Warm water in the sense little bit hot water or normal room temperature. Bhavani ji, the temperature of the water has to be between 40 to 45 degrees centigrade, which basically means when you dip your finger in the water, you should be able to feel warmth in the water. It is not room temperature and not so hot also that you have to immediately pull out your finger. So आप एक 10 सेकेंड टेस्ट कर सकते हो. पानी लेने के बाद उसमें एक बार फिंगर ड्रॉप कर लीजिए, फिंगर डिप कर दीजिए एंड चेक कर लीजिए. अगर आप 10 सेकेंड आराम से उसमें रख पा रहे हैं फिंगर और आपको गुनगुना फील हो रहा है, दैट मीन्स टेम्परेचर सही है. Can we use instant dry yeast directly from the freezer when we are working on the bread? 100%. So whenever you're storing your yeast in the fridge or freezer, you will immediately take it out whenever you wish to use it. Use as much as required. So जितना आपको required है आप उतना उसे use करेंगे. एंड इमीडिएटली वापस से फ्रिज में ही रख दें. So now what I'm doing is stretching the dough with my hands and folding it like this, changing the side, stretching a little bit. Don't stretch too much and fold it. Just repeat this process a few times. Stretch it a little bit, fold it, then again hold it, stretch it a few times, hold it. Basically, this is again done to trap as much air inside as possible. So जितनी air हम इसमें trap कर सकें वो हम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. इसलिए हम इसको hand से थोड़ा stretch कर रहे हैं और fold कर रहे हैं. Just do this 5 to 6 times. 5 से 6 बार लगभग आपको ये करने की जरूरत है. And after that, your dough will be ready. You will get a very smooth, less sticky. So पहले जितना ही स्टिक हो रहा था हैंड्स पे, अब ये उतना बिल्कुल भी स्टिक नहीं होगा और काफी स्मूथ डो आपको मिल जाएगा. यू गेट अ वेरी वेरी स्मूथ डो. दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी वांट. नाउ ऑल यू हैव टू डू इज जस्ट स्ट्रेच द डो विद योर हैंड्स अ लिटिल बिट. हल्का हल्का इसको अपने हाथ से स्ट्रेच करना है एंड जस्ट फोल्ड इट इन. और इसको इस तरह से अंदर की तरफ फोल्ड. That's it. Now your dough is ready to be set for the first proofing or the bulk proofing. So the bowl that you made your dough in, just add a teaspoon of oil. इसमें हल्का सा थोड़ा सा oil डालेंगे, लगभग 1 teaspoon. Just grease it really nicely. इसको अच्छे से grease करिए. Just add some oil on the top of the dough as well and place it inside. इसमें हल्का सा हमने oil ऊपर लगाया and dough को हम इसी bowl में set कर देंगे. So this process is done. I'm going to quickly wash my hands and be done. So now what we will need is a cling wrap to cover this, and I'm going to show you the dough that we prepared before the session and how this dough will look after 1 hour. So you now need to proof this for 1 hour. Just cover it with a cling wrap, cover it with an airtight lid, and keep it in a dark and warm place, preferably in your kitchen. So kitchens usually dark or warm भी होते हैं. तो कोई भी किचन के कॉर्नर में आप इसको क्लिंग रैप कर सकते हैं या फिर अगर एयरटाइट लिड है तो उससे कवर कर सकते हैं और कॉर्नर में छोड़ देना है लगभग 1 घंटे के लिए. सो इन समर्स यूजुअली इट्स रेडी in about 45 minutes, but maximum you can keep for 1 hour. So 1 घंटे के लिए भी आप रख सकते हो. वैसे क्योंकि गर्मियां हैं तो 45 मिनट्स में भी डो रेडी हो जाता है. How the dough is going to look like after 1 hour is this. So dough जो ये था हमारा, this is the size of the dough. It's going to basically double up and look like this after 1 hour. So 1 घंटे के बाद dough exactly हमारा double हो जाएगा. And this I will just cling wrap and keep it in a dark and warm corner of the kitchen. इसको हम cover करके एक side में रख देते हैं और इस dough के साथ अब हम काम start करते हैं. This is our this first step or first process that we are doing with the dough where we are resting the dough is known as the first proofing or the bulk proofing. So ये जो पहली step है जिसमें हम dough को rest करते हैं इसको हम first proofing या फिर bulk proofing कहते हैं. Now before I start with the process working with this dough which is already proofed, so 1 घंटे के बाद जो dough हमारा तैयार है जिसके साथ अब हम buns बनाएंगे वो हम start करें उससे पहले I'm going to quickly start with preheating my OTG. So I'm going to quickly switch over the camera where you can see my OTG and I will start with that process. So you can see my OTG is right behind me. So मेरे पीछे मेरा OTG है. I use a Morphy Richards 52 liters OTG. So मैं Morphy Richards का 52 liters OTG use कर रही हूँ. For making these buns, we are going to start with the preheating process. We will preheat the OTG at 200 degree centigrade for about 10 minutes. हम 10 मिनट के लिए OTG को preheat करेंगे with both the rods and the fan on. दोनों rods और fan on करके preheating की जाएगी लगभग 10 से 15 मिनट के लिए. Maximum 15 मिनट is enough. 10 minutes में भी OTG ready हो जाता है. Now, if you don't have an OTG, the second best option is to bake these on the gas stove, just like you bake your cakes and muffins in the cooker or the kadhai. So जैसे अगर आप ऑलरेडी गैस पे बेकिंग करते हैं कुकर और कढ़ाई में तो उसी सेम वे में आप बंस भी बेक कर सकते हो गैस पे. सेम वे में आपको एक कढ़ाई या कुकर लेना है, उसमें नीचे रेत या फिर सॉल्ट डालना है, उसमें एक स्टैंड डालना है, उसके ऊपर आप अपना प्लेट रखोगे जिसपे बंस होंगे एंड आप उसको बेक कर सकते हो मीडियम फ्लेम पे. So if you are not using the OTG, then you do the same process on the gas. You first preheat your kadhai or cooker, and then you basically have to add salt or sand inside, put a stand, the same way that you do for cakes. I'm sure if you're already baking on the gas stove, you would know the process. You just need to put a plate with the buns, and you have to same way bake it on the gas stove on a medium flame. So that is how you bake on the gas stove. The third option is to bake in the microwave using the convection mode, which is my least preferred option because in the microwave you don't really get very goldenish top on the buns, which is what we usually want. So buns हल्के से goldenish brown, slight brown texture में अच्छे लगते हैं, पर जब हम माइक्रोवेव में बनाते हैं तो हमें उतना अच्छा टेक्सचर और कलर नहीं मिल पाता है. बट अगर आपके पास सिर्फ एक माइक्रोवेव ऑप्शन है तो आप कन्वेक्शन मोड पे 200 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड पे 7 to 8 मिनट्स उसे प्रीहीट करके उस पर भी बेक कर सकते हैं. So if the only option that you have is the microwave, then you can bake it using the convection mode. First preheat it for 7 to 8 minutes at 200 degrees centigrade. So I hope all the three ways in which you can bake first preheat the utensil is clear. So you either use the devices, which is OTG or microwave, or you use the gas stove. First option, 100% is OTG, gives the best results in breads. Second best is gas, where you use a cooker or a kadhai. And third option, if we don't have any other option, would be the microwave. So अगर कोई और option नहीं है तो microwave, otherwise OTG या फिर cooker ही best रहता है. So that is how you're going to do it. I'm going to start with preheating my OTG and meanwhile we'll start shaping the buns. So हम buns को shape करते हैं और साथ ही साथ मैं OTG को preheat पे भी लगा दूँ. Let's quickly start with that. Okay, I'll first quickly take some of the questions. Warm water I have used to knead the dough. तो मैंने वार्म वाटर यूज किया है डो को नीट करने के लिए, आप भी वो भी यूज कर सकते हैं. फॉर व्हीट ब्रेड सेम रेसिपी. सो चारू जी नॉट रियली, बिकॉज फॉर अ ब्रेड द क्वांटिटीज विल चेंज. सो क्वांटिटी चेंज हो जाएगी, प्रोसेस डेफिनेटली सेम रहता है, बट ब्रेड्स में वी डेफिनेटली नीड मोर ऑफ एवरी. यस मुस्तान जी, यू कैन यूज होम मेड आटा. आप घर की चक्की का आटा भी यूज कर सकते हैं. द ओनली थिंग इज दैट यू शुड सिफ्ट द आटा और सीव इट थ्रू. आप एक बार छन्नी से उस आटे को निकाल लीजिए ताकि उसमें जो भी बड़े बड़े हस्क हैं, बहुत ज्यादा फाइबर है, वो थोड़ा रिमूव हो जाए. अदरवाइज ब्रेड कैन बिकम अ लिटिल हार्ड एंड मोर डेंस. So because the home milled atta is slightly denser, has more husk in it, so you can just sift it through, just pass it through a sieve and you'll get better results. Can we use bread improver? Yes, Harjeet ji, if you wish to use, you can use bread improver. For 150 grams of flour, you can only add about 5 grams of bread improver. मिलेट्स यूज नहीं कर सकते निविता जी, बिकॉज मिलेट बेस्ड जो ब्रेड्स होती हैं वो कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट वे में बनती हैं. सो इस प्रोसेस में और इस रेसिपी में मिलेट्स हम यूज नहीं कर सकते. वार्म वाटर मिल्क यू यूज फॉर नीडिंग. आई यूज वाटर. Can we use instant rice directly from the freezer? Yes, Sonia ji, you can. Can we make millet buns with this recipe? No, Davinder ji, you cannot because millet-based recipes are completely different. We can use this recipe for bread. The process remains the same, but like I said, the quantities will change. So you cannot use the exact same recipe, but the process will remain the same. Yeah. In ma'am, instant yeast don't require activation, then why we activated it when we can use it directly? So Muskan, I already explained that the reason behind that is simple, that for example, my yeast has gotten spoiled or is it's not working. How would I know if I add it directly to the flour? The chances are that if it's spoiled and not working, my whole flour thing will go to the dustbin. It will get spoiled. So just to be doubly sure that the yeast is working, even when I'm working with instant yeast, this is one thing which I tell all my students and participants to follow, is to try and activate the instant yeast also. It just takes about 5 minutes of yours. That's all. Should we store the yeast in the fridge? 100% Nidaji, you have to store it in the fridge for longer shelf life. In the freezer, if you're not baking that often. अगर आप ज्यादा बेक नहीं करते हो तो फ्रीजर में रखना है, और अगर आप फ्रीक्वेंटली बेक करते हो तो फ्रिज में रख सकते Prima ji, we've used about 30 grams of oil. Best oven for baking. I'm using Morphy Richards and I'm pretty happy with it. So you can try Morphy Richards. How many pieces can we make with this measurement? 2 burger buns. Big sized burger buns is what we are aiming at. 2 burger buns of 150 grams each, or you can make 100 grams each, 3 burger buns. So आप 100 grams के 3 buns बना सकते हो, या आप 150 grams के 2 भी बना सकते हो. For buns, why do we preheat at 200 and both the rods on? In general, for breads, that is the temperature, and both rods are on because we want a little goldenish top also. So ऊपर से क्योंकि हमें थोड़ा goldenish top चाहिए होता है, इसलिए दोनों rods use करते हैं. Ma'am, can we use steel utensils in an OTG oven? I haven't used steel ever, so I will not be able to guide you on that. संगीता जी, मैं steel कभी भी use नहीं करती हूँ OTG में, so मैं आपको भी मना ही करूँगी उसके लिए. Aluminium is what we use. So aluminium are used. How do we bake in convection mode? I hope Nida G that is clear because I already explained that. If you want me to repeat, just let me know. How can we preheat for microwave? You just switch it on for 7 to 8 minutes on convection mode without keeping anything inside empty. So खाली आपको सिर्फ 7 से 8 मिनट के लिए उसको ऑन करना. OTG settings for baking, I'll quickly repeat Fatima ji. So we are basically preheating the OTG for 10 to 15 minutes with both the rods on at 200 degrees centigrade. So 200 degree centigrade temperature है, दोनों rods of fan on है, जिसे हम toast mode भी कहते हैं, और 10 से 15 मिनट. Can we use multigrain atta in this recipe? As long as it has good quantity of whole wheat flour, yes, you can. If it is a gluten-free flour or has very less quantity of atta in it, I mean whole wheat flour in it, then you cannot use. Because we need gluten for this recipe. It's a gluten-based recipe. Can we double the size and prepare the bread? Chinduji, yes, you can double the recipe and prepare the bread, but the yeast quantity will remain the same. Rest, everything will be double. सारी चीजें आप डबल कर लीजिए, बट yeast की क्वांटिटी सेम रही. How much quantity to take if only taking whole warm milk by skipping milk powder? Like I said, Muskan ji, you will have to replace water in the recipe with milk if you are skipping milk powder. So you make the entire recipe with only milk and no water. So you may need somewhere around 3/4 cup of milk. Can we use khapoli wheat atta? Yes, you can. It is low in gluten, so Renuji, you may get slightly denser buns. So क्योंकि थोड़ा वो low रहता है gluten में, तो थोड़ा सा denser results मिलते हैं. Best oven for baking, Bhuvi ji, Morphy Richards. Sonia ji, how long can we store the dough after first proofing? Maximum 1 hour. How to store the dough at fridge or room temperature? Room temperature, 1 hour is maximum that you can store. Other than Morphy Richards, Bajaj is good, Bhuviji. You can also use that. Hello, Gunjan ji. Can you show millet flour buns? Riya ji, I'm going to talk about that as we proceed. So just wait for 10 minutes. We will talk about millet flour. Joined late, where can I find the recipe? It's mentioned in the description box. You can just download the recipe from there. Best oven for baking, Arvind Morphy already answered. In case we double the quantity, then quantity of yeast will be how much? Radhika ji, it will be exactly the same. No change in quantity of yeast if you're doubling the recipe. Best, already answered, Bhuvi. Less amount of yeast for bread, ma'am. Yes, so yeast quantity is basically not directly proportional to flour. That is why I said that you can't really make breads with the same recipe. Because for breads, you will need to use 3 times the flour and the yeast quantity also changes. So yeast भी change हो जाता है अगर आप 3 times use कर रहे हो. But अगर आप छोटी bread बना रहे हो double quantity से, तो same yeast रहता है. So if you're doubling the recipe, then the yeast will be the same. But if you are tripling the recipe, then the yeast amount will change and it is not directly proportional to the bread, and bread's recipes are completely different. What to do if dough sticks to hand while stretching? Grease your hands. आपको जितना oil use करना है, आप gradually उसको add करें. Don't add oil in one go. You saw how I gradually added oil and kneaded the dough. Exactly that is what you need. Can we use multigrain atta in this recipe? Yes, you can if it has good amount of whole wheat flour. 2 cups of wheat for 1 teaspoon of yeast. Yes, Chinduji, it will give you a small bread. Can you please tell me the measurements of yeast? I missed it. 1 teaspoon of yeast is what we have used, Bhavani ji. Okay, so I think most of the questions are answered. Let's quickly come back to the recipe. So I'm just gonna punch out all the air from the dough. So dough को हम एक बार punch out कर देते हैं, जो भी excess air होती है, बड़े air bubbles होते हैं, and we'll take it out like this. इसको हम बाहर निकाल लेते हैं. Now, like I said, you can make 3 burger buns out of this of 100 grams each, or you can make 2 big burger buns. So आप इसके 2 बड़े big burger buns भी बना सकते हैं, चाहे तो 3 भी बना सकते हैं. If you're making 2 like I am, it will give you 150 gram buns. अगर आप 2 buns बना रहे हो तो 150 ग्राम के बनेंगे. तो अगर आप 3 बना रहे हो तो आपको 100 grams के मिल जाएंगे. So you can just measure them and make them. I'm just going to use my eyeball measurement. So we will just stretch the dough like this and fold it in. So dough को stretch करना है और अंदर की तरफ इस तरह से fold करके roll कर देना है. So this is how your burger bun will be shaped. इस तरह से आप burger bun को shape कर लेंगे. And then we have a baking sheet that is ready. So we have a baking tray with a parchment paper that is already ready. So हमने baking tray पे parchment paper लगा के उसको तैयार कर लिया है. We will just lightly grease it. So हल्का सा आप थोड़ा सा grease कर सकते हैं, just so that the dough comes out easily, ताकि dough आसानी से उतर पाए. And now on this, you will place your burger bun like this. आप इस पे अपना burger bun इस तरह से place करें. Same way, you're going to repeat the process for the second bun. Just stretch it on the sides and fold it in. थोड़ा थोड़ा साइड्स पे स्ट्रेच करना है और फिर सेंटर में फोल्ड करके पिंच करके हाथों में इस तरह से रोल करके. Now for the second bun, I am preferably going to use a burger ring. So यहाँ पे एक burger ring है, ये इस तरह की दिखती है. Burger rings easily Amazon पे available हैं. You will be able to find it off Amazon. I will have to grease the burger ring also. Burger ring को भी हम अच्छे से grease कर देंगे on the sides. Sides से इसको अच्छे से grease कर लीजिए. Why we are using a burger ring? When we don't use a burger ring, the buns tend to expand too much on the sides and they don't have a lot of height. So क्या होता है जब हम बर्गर रिंग के बिना बंस बनाते हैं, बिल्कुल बना सकते हैं, उससे क्या होता है बन साइज में ज्यादा फैलता है, हाइट कम आती है. पर जब हम एक बर्गर रिंग यूज करते हैं इस तरह से, सो इसमें क्या होता है कि हमारे बन की हाइट भी अच्छी आती है और इसकी जो स्प्रेडिंग कैपेसिटी है या स्प्रेडिंग एबिलिटी है वो हम रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर देते हैं with the usage of the ring. So when you're using a ring, you are able to restrict the side expansion of the bun and you get a good height, better height. But when you don't use a ring, your bun will still be good enough, but it will expand a little extra on the sides and you will not be able to get a good heighted bun. So it is completely your choice. If you don't have a burger ring, you can absolutely just simply place your bun on the parchment paper. So आप directly भी place कर सकते हैं parchment paper पे अगर आपके पास ring नहीं है, if you don't have a ring. So that's completely all right. And now all you have to do is just place a cling wrap on top of this. इसको एक cling wrap से आपको इस तरह से cover कर देना है. Just cover it with a cling wrap. And this process is known as the second proofing. Now for second proofing, you need to keep these in a dark corner of your kitchen for about 30 to maximum 40 minutes. So second proofing जो होती है जिसमें कि हमारे buns basically size में बढ़ते हैं. The buns are good shaped and now they will increase in size. In this step, we are basically just going to keep them on the side in a dark and warm corner for about 30, maximum 40 minutes. Minimum 30, maximum 40 minutes के लिए आप इसको एक side में रख सकते हैं. इसको हम second proofing कहते हैं. So this is how the buns will look like and we are simply just going to keep them on this. Now I already have buns that have proofed. So we पास already buns हैं जो proof हो चुके हैं. So these are smaller buns which I have kept about 75 grams each. So ये 75 grams each के हैं. And the big one here is about 150 grams. ये 150 grams का है. So you can clearly see the difference here that the one which is inside the burger ring has a better height, has a better, circle. Whereas the other buns which I just kept like that on the parchment paper or on the mat here have expanded a little extra and they don't really have any height. So इनकी height उतनी नहीं आती और ये फैल ज्यादा जाते हैं. But जब आप burger ring use करते हो तो height भी better आती है और फैलते भी कम है. So this is the advantage of using burger ring. So if you're professionally into baking, if you're selling buns, then you must use burger ring. So आप burger rings definitely use करें. Shanli ji, the burger ring I'm using is 4 inches. So ये 4 inches की ring है जो कि perfect है अगर आप 120 to 150 grams के bun बना रहे. So if you're making buns of 120 to 150 grams, then a 4-inch ring is good enough. You get these in different sizes. You have 2.5, 3 inches, All of these are also available. You can buy them from Amazon. आपको Amazon पे आसानी से मिल जाए. So we will just rather we will just give our buns a milk wash. So ये buns already proof हो चुके हैं. They are ready to go into the oven. इनको हम oven में अब डाल सकते हैं. So oven में डालने से पहले आपको buns पे milk wash देना है. You have to give your buns a milk wash. This is normal room temperature milk. हमने नॉर्मल जो दूध होता है जो हम घर पे यूज करते हैं उसको लगभग आधे घंटे से रूम टेम्परेचर पे रखा हुआ था. दैट इज व्हाट वी आर जस्ट गिविंग अ मिल्क वॉश हियर. Why you have to give a milk wash before baking breads and buns is because the milk will basically caramelize in the oven after heating up and it will give a beautiful golden top. So जब आप milk wash देते हैं उससे एक बहुत ही अच्छा golden color आता है buns में क्योंकि milk जो है वो oven के अंदर caramelize हो जाता है. Now, just to add some more elements of color and texture, we are just going to add some black sesame seeds. हम यहाँ पे थोड़े से black sesame seeds sprinkle कर देते हैं. This is optional but recommended to get some more color on the bun. So buns को थोड़ा और appetizing बनाने के लिए उस पे थोड़ा सा आप sesame seeds add कर सकते हो. आप चाहे तो oregano chili flakes भी add कर सकते हो. So if you want, you can add oregano or chili flakes also. That's absolutely your choice. And now this goes into the oven. अब इसको हम oven में bake करने के लिए रख देंगे. So I'm just going to put this inside. Now let's quickly discuss how much time we're going to bake these. I'm going to quickly switch over the camera to the other one. Yeah. So my buns have gone inside. You can see it. It's right inside in the oven. We're going to place it in the middle rack. So हम middle rack में burger buns को place करेंगे. We're going to bake it with both the rods and the fan on because we want a nice golden top and we want it to bake evenly. So हम toast mode यानी कि दोनों rods और fan use कर रहे हैं ताकि ऊपर से भी अच्छा golden color आए और अंदर तक properly cook हो जाए buns हमारे. And we are going to bake it for 20 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to quickly repeat it. 200 degree centigrade temperature, both the rods and the fan is on, which is known as the toast mode. And we're going to bake it for 20 to 25 minutes. So तीनों चीजें सबको clear है. 200 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड 20 से 25 मिनट और दोनों rods of fan on रखना. Now, if you're baking it on the gas stove, entire process remains the same. Like you bake your cakes, you put it inside rather than putting it on a baking tray. You can just use a steel plate, grease it, put a parchment paper, keep your buns on that steel plate, put it inside your cooker or your kadhai, and just bake it for about 30 to 35 minutes. Gas पे लगभग 7 से 8 मिनट एक्स्ट्रा लगते हैं, तो आप 30 से 35 मिनट्स के लिए गैस पे बना सकते हैं. गैस पे बनाते समय आपको मीडियम फ्लेम रखना है. So the flame will be medium when you're baking on the gas stove. Now, if you're baking in the microwave convection, it will take you about 20 to 25 minutes at 200 degrees centigrade. So convection mode use करके माइक्रोवेव में 20 से 25 मिनट लगेंगे और आपको 200 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड पे ही बेक कर. So I hope the baking settings are clear for you all. सबके लिए baking settings clear है. Quickly let me know with a guess. I will start taking some of your questions meanwhile. Meena ji, buns without yeast is a completely different story. It's a completely different method. So we can't really cover that in today's workshop, unfortunately, because we just have an hour to complete the workshop and we are already doing a detailed recipe. I completely get it, Meena ji. We do have no yeast recipes. You can just contact the team. You can just WhatsApp, on the same number you got to know about this workshop from. And the team will share the paid workshops with you, wherein you can learn without yeast also. Okay, I will take some more questions. Can we use this recipe for Korean cream cheese buns and stuffed buns? 100% सोनिया जी, आप यही same recipe से burger buns बनाइए. Burger buns को आप stuff करके stuffed buns भी बना सकते हैं, cream cheese stuff करके cream cheese buns भी बना सकते हैं. Can we use same measurements and bake a bread? No, Swati ji, you can't because 150 grams of flour will give you a very small bread. It will not be a proper bread. So you can't really do that. But we do have a lot of bread workshops with us, which you can purchase. We did a excellent whole wheat breads workshop a while back, which was a great success. So you can definitely, inquire from the team by WhatsApping. What did you apply on parchment paper? Oil. You can apply oil or butter. Yeast quantity, Bhavani ji, is 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon हमने yeast use किया है. How to proof in winter season? How I proof in winter season is I just use the microwave and I put the the bowl inside the microwave. So मैं क्या करती हूँ माइक्रोवेव यूज करा और उसको बंद कर दिया ऑफ कर दिया और उसी में बोल रख दिया. सो अंदर क्या होता है गर्म रहता है ऑफ होना जरूरी है वरना आपका ब्रेड बेक हो जाएगा. So just make sure that the microwave is off and it's not on, otherwise your bread will bake. And you just put it inside the microwave. It's dark, it's warm, perfect for winter season. Burger ring, how many inches? 4 inches. What is used in milk wash? Only milk, milk or butter, only milk. Only milk is required. Temperature 200 degrees centigrade छान लीजिए. How to check if buns are baked? So when you tap onto the buns, you will be able to hear a hollow sound. That is how you know the buns are baked. Or you just simply follow the process which I told you. Just bake them for 25 minutes. You'll see a golden top. That's how you know the buns are done. So या तो आप golden top से judge कर सकते हो कि buns complete हो गए हैं. Second option ये रहता है कि आप buns को ऐसे ऊपर से tap करोगे जब वो गर्म है तो आपको एक hollow sound आएगा. But not many people are able to judge that. So आप golden top से judge कर सकते हो. Same way we can make Korean cheese buns. Yes, 100%. Which oil can we use? I've used regular sunflower oil. You can use any oil. Just make sure it's odorless, flavorless, so that your buns don't get that flavor. So आप कोई भी basic odorless, flavorless oil use कर सकते हैं. मैंने sunflower oil use किया है. Okay. So while our buns are baking, I'm going to quickly tell you about a surprise that we have for all of you who have joined us in this workshop. So the year 2024, I have specially made it a point to focus more towards healthier cooking and baking. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, I'm also a food content creator and I've been doing a lot of healthy weight loss recipes on Instagram also. The page name is The Grace Kitchen. If you don't already follow me, you can check out my page and you can check out my work there. A lot more recipes there. But the workshops that we're also doing are a lot more towards healthier foods. We are doing a lot more millet-based recipes. So we've done a millet brownies workshop, which was a huge success. We had over 200 participants who joined us for the millet brownies workshop. And we got such a great response. All the participants were able to make out the brownies and they are so good. Apart from that, we also did a millet granola session. But the most requested session, which I have got at least hundreds of requests for, is the millet breads workshop. So millet breads workshop की सबसे ज़्यादा हमारे पास request आती है. I think जब से साल start हुआ है और जब से मैंने healthy baking workshops लेना start किया है, regular तो हम बहुत पहले से ही ले रहे हैं. बट इस साल हमने हेल्दियर बेकिंग पे ज्यादा फोकस किया है, हेल्दियर कुकिंग पे ज्यादा फोकस किया है. So, जब से मैंने मिलेट बेस्ड और हेल्दी बेस्ड वर्कशॉप्स लेना स्टार्ट किया है, सबसे ज्यादा जो रिक्वेस्ट आती है वो मिलेट ब्रेड्स की आती है, ग्लूटेन फ्री ब्रेड्स की आती है. एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी टुडे इटसेल्फ ड्यूरिंग दिस वर्कशॉप आर लॉन्चिंग our first ever gluten free millet breads workshop. So आज ही के दिन इस workshop के दौरान हम launch कर रहे हैं अपनी millet breads workshop. Now the good part about that is the participants who have joined us in this free session today get a flat 25% off in our upcoming millet breads workshop, which is on the coming Friday, which is the 14th of June. So coming Friday 14th of June को हमारी millet breads workshop है. फर्स्ट टाइम हम ये वर्कशॉप होल्ड कर रहे हैं. मैक्सिमम 100 पार्टिसिपेंट्स हम लेने वाले हैं एंड इस वर्कशॉप में आपको फ्लैट 25% ऑफ मिलेगा अगर आपने आज का सेशन ज्वाइन किया था. So only for 24 hours, I'm giving a flat 25% discount on this millet breads workshop, which you can simply join by clicking on the link in the description box today. So जो डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में लिंक है वो ऑलरेडी हम दे चुके हैं. आप लोग की वीडियो के नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में जाएंगे तो लिंक ऑलरेडी वहां पे है. For the discount code, you just have to WhatsApp us, just message us that you're interested in the millet bread course, and I will share the code with you. So सिर्फ 24 घंटे के लिए 25% ऑफ है इस कोर्स में. उसके बाद ये कोर्स वापस ओरिजिनल प्राइस का हो जाएगा. So अगर आप ये कोर्स ज्वाइन करना चाहते हैं तो आप हमारे को मैसेज कर सकते हैं WhatsApp पे. The WhatsApp number you would have already have it. I'm sure if you joined this workshop, the link has been sent through our WhatsApp number. So हमारे ऑफिशियल WhatsApp नंबर से ही आज का लिंक दिया था तो आप उस पर मैसेज कर सकते हैं. Just tell us that you're interested in the millet workshop and we will share the discount code with you. So, like I said, the discount code is only exclusively for the people who joined us today. So, सिर्फ जिन लोगों ने आज हमें join किया था, उन्हीं के लिए exclusively हमने ये discount run किया है, which is going to expire at midnight tomorrow. So, कल Sunday midnight तक ही ये code valid रहेगा और उसके बाद ये expire हो जाएगा, तो आप इसको use नहीं कर पाएंगे unfortunately. So, जितने लोग भी sign up करना चाहते हैं वो कर लीजिए. The whole purpose of this is because we can only take 100 participants in one workshop. Since we are doing it for the first time, we are expecting people in huge numbers, and that is why we just wanted to restrict it to one day so that we can take as many participants as possible at the discounted price, and then we will close it down. So हम केवल क्योंकि 100 ही participants लेते हैं हर वर्कशॉप पे और ये हम पहली बार कोर्स रन करने वाले हैं, इसीलिए हमने सिर्फ एक दिन का ही इसमें डिस्काउंट कोड रन किया है ताकि जो लोग आज हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं उनको इसका अवेल कर पाए, वो इसका फायदा ले पाए, एंड फिर वो लोग साइन अप भी कर पाए, उनको फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस पे. So that's the entire purpose of running this discount for you all. I'll quickly brief you about what all is there in this workshop. So मैं फीस के बारे में भी बात करूंगी, पहले मैं आपको quickly बता देती हूँ कि इसमें आप क्या क्या सीखेंगे. So it's going to be a workshop with 8 recipes. इसमें 8 recipes आप सीखने वाले हैं. Of course you can do as many variations as possible. आप जितने variations चाहें उतने आप इसके बना सकते हैं because there's no limit to the variations that you can make. The first recipe that we're going to do is a multigrain millet bread loaf. Then we're going to do a herbed focaccia bread. We're going to do millet burger buns. We are also going to do cheese stuffed dinner rolls. And of course, there'll be many variations that will be part of your PDF, which will be herbed buns, garlic millet loaf bread. There will be herbed millet loaf bread. And of course, there'll be focaccia buns as well. So हम इसमें काफी सारी चीजें कवर करने वाले हैं. 4 रेसिपीज का हम डेमो देखेंगे जिसमें हम ब्रेड लोफ बनाना सीखेंगे मल्टीग्रेन यानी कि मल्टी मिलेट्स के साथ. हम मिलेट बेस्ड बर्गर बन्स बनाएंगे, हम मिलेट बेस्ड फोकाशिया ब्रेड बनाएंगे और चीज स्टफ हम डिनर रोल्स बनाएंगे. इसके अलावा आपकी पीडीएफ में जो वेरिएशंस अवेलेबल होंगे वो हर्ब्ड बन्स के होंगे, हर्ब्ड ब्रेड के होंगे, गार्लिक ब्रेड के होंगे और उसी के साथ साथ फुकाशिया बन्स के भी होंगे. But like I said, you will not be restricted to only 8 recipes after this workshop. You will actually be able to make hundreds of variations with these base recipes. So हमारा main purpose जो होता है इस workshop का वो ये होता है कि हम आपको 30-40 रेसिपी ना दें, बट हम आपको कोर रेसिपी सिखाएं जिससे आप अनगिनत वेरिएशंस बना सकते हैं. Now, the important part is that these recipes are 100% gluten free, 100% preservative free, 100% xanthan gum free. So एक xanthan gum एक काफी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सा इंग्रेडिएंट है जो काफी लोग पसंद नहीं करते हैं और यूज भी नहीं करना चाहते हैं, बट ग्लूटेन फ्री बेकिंग में काफी ऑफनली यूज होता है. हमारी इस वर्कशॉप में कोई भी xanthan gum यूज नहीं होगा. ऑल द इंग्रेडिएंट्स आर इजीली अवेलेबल. जो भी इंग्रेडिएंट्स हम यूज कर रहे हैं बहुत ही इजीली अवेलेबल होंगे. 100% ग्लूटेन फ्री और 100% प्रेजर्वेटिव फ्री ये वर्कशॉप होने वाली है. Also, it's going to be 100% refined sugar free. So refined sugar free भी रहने वाली है ये वाली workshop. Now comes the pricing. The price of this class is originally 399. हम इसको 399 पे price कर रहे हैं originally. But like I said, for all of you, this class is available at a flat 25% discount for only rupees 299 till tomorrow midnight. So Sunday midnight तक आप ये class purchase कर सकते हैं केवल 299 में यानी कि 299 में. उसके बाद इसकी प्राइस 399 हो जाएगी जो इसकी ओरिजिनल प्राइस है. So that is how it is. If you are interested to join the workshop, all you have to do is message us on WhatsApp interested in the millet breads workshop and I will share the code with you directly. So आज की जो वर्कशॉप है जो नेक्स्ट वर्कशॉप है मिलेट ब्रेड्स की जो कि 14 जून को होने वाली है, अगर आप वो ज्वाइन करना चाहते हैं तो आपको भी सिर्फ एक WhatsApp मैसेज करना है and I'll share the details with you. Now coming back to today's workshop, let me take some more questions. Same way we can make, yes, 2 cups of flour and 1 teaspoon of yeast can be used to make more buns. Yes, Sonia ji, आप double करके रेसिपी को ज़्यादा buns बना सकते हो by doubling the flour to 2 and using 1 teaspoon. How much butter to add? You will add about 30 grams instead of oil. अगर आप oil की जगह butter add कर रहे हो तो 30 grams. Can we prevent the yeast smell in buns? So Kavya ji, yeast smell will only come in 2 circumstances. Number 1, if your yeast is too old and it has been kept for too long, then it will have a foul smell. And number 2, if you have overproofed the buns. So अगर buns को 1 घंटे proof करना था और आपने buns को ज़्यादा देर के लिए proof कर दिया, तो वो एक इशू होता है जिसकी वजह से एक फाउल यीस्टी सी स्मेल आ जाती है, जो कि बेसिकली अल्कोहल की स्मेल होती है, बिकॉज यीस्ट ओवर फर्मेंट हो जाता है। और दूसरा रीजन होता है कि यीस्ट पुराना हो गया है, एक्सपायर हो गया, और आप उसे फिर भी यूज कर रहे हैं। So if you check onto these two things, then there are no chances that your buns will smell of yeast. Okay? So ये दो चीजों का ध्यान रखें। Bharti ji, Chindu ji, Geeta ji, fees is 299. You just have to WhatsApp us if you want the discount code and we'll share it with you. Can you please explain the microwave proofing? Yes, Anuji, what we have basically done in the microwave is during the winter season, microwave, just run the microwave for 30 seconds and then switch it off. So आपको 30 seconds के लिए microwave run करना है, उसके बाद उसे switch off कर देना है। एंड उसके बाद आपको जो प्रूफ करा हुआ आपका बोल है, द बोल इन विच यू वांट टू प्रूफ द डो, यू कीप इट इनसाइड द माइक्रोवेव, आप उसको माइक्रोवेव के अंदर रख सकते। So that way, you get to dark in a warm environment. So उससे ये उसको एक dark और warm environment जो winters में नहीं easily मिलता, वो माइक्रोवेव में मिल जाएगा एंड आप easily bread बना सकते। Since we got a lot of requests from you all that you wanted the recording of the session, I also got a lot of messages from people who have a working Saturday and they were not free to attend this workshop. So for all of your convenience, this video will be available for lifetime. So हमने ये video जो है वो lifetime के लिए accessible कर दिया है। आप जब भी चाहेंगे इस वीडियो को इसी लिंक पे क्लिक करके व्यू कर सकते हैं। So you just have to click on the same link that you received today, because I got a lot of requests from a lot of people. We actually had over 1000 registrations for this workshop. So आज की workshop के 1000 से भी ऊपर registrations हैं। But काफी सारे लोगों ने मुझे बताया कि उनका Saturday भी working रहता है। I kept it on a Saturday because I thought Saturday would be off for everyone, but it's not, and many people are working on a Saturday also, which is amazing, and that is why we have decided that we are gonna make this workshop live for you all for a lifetime. So it will be accessible using the same link. So आप इसी लिंक को यूज करके, हम अलग से कोई रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं भेजेंगे, आप इसी लिंक को यूज करके जब चाहें वीडियो देख सकते हैं। Will we get a video in the gluten free? Yes. So all the workshops that we hold, we have over 60, 70 plus workshops that we have been taking since the past 5 years. All the workshops have lifetime recording access, lifetime PDF access. So PDF भी आपको lifetime के लिए मिलती है, आपको recipe access हमेशा के लिए मिलता है, और आपको recording का भी lifetime access मिलता है. So if in any case you're not able to attend the live session and you're doing a paid workshop with us, you definitely get the complete access, and you can attend it whenever you wish. Can you please add your pizza recipe top with bread recipe in workshop? So Chinduji, what I'm planning is I wanted to add a pizza based recipe in this workshop, but then I thought that pizza, can be done in so many more variations. So why to limit it to a bread workshop? Let's do the gluten-free bread workshop, understand the basics of working with millets, and then we'll do a completely pizza-based workshop on millets and healthier pizzas. So that workshop will not be only limited to millets. It will have healthier keto-based pizzas and all of those things. So हम एक healthy pizzas की workshop बहुत ही जल्द आपके लिए लेकर आ रहे हैं, because again उसकी भी बहुत ज़्यादा request आई. I know everybody loves a good pizza, but how to make it healthier, how to work with healthier bases, we are going to learn that in one of our upcoming sessions. Right now, this workshop is 100% based on buns, breads, focaccia. So ये वाली workshop में हम breads, buns और focaccia के बारे में सीखेंगे. Which size bread loaf mold can be used to make small bread? 6 inches would be a good size. 6 by 3 inches, 6 by 2 inches would be a good size. Can we use this recipe to make a small pizza base? 100%. Sonia ji, आप एक pizza base बना सकते हैं. In Millet Breads workshop, there is no millet pizza based recipe. No, Sonia ji, we're not doing a millet based pizza recipe because, like I said, pizza will be next. We are going to come up with a healthier pizzas workshop. Which will have many more recipes apart from only millet based. Most welcome, Stuti ji. I know a lot of people who are requesting for the recording, so we heard you and we are going to give it to you. Hello, ma'am. I didn't get the discount for the millet bread workshop when you use the above link. Anaga ji, you can just WhatsApp the message to us. We will check it for you. And if you've already paid, we will transfer it to another class. Okay? So don't worry about it at all. So the link is already in the description box. Either you can register directly or you can message us and we'll share the discount code. Discount code is not there in the description box. So just message us, we'll share the discount code and then you buy. So एक बार आप discount code हमसे लेके फिर buy करिए ताकि आपको discount मिले. Okay, so that is how we're going to do it. Go ahead with it. So how to sell these buns? So Sonia ji, you just have to wrap them up either in a cling film or in a brown paper bag, and you can easily price 2 burger buns that we have prepared between 150 to 200 rupees. So ये जो 2 burger buns हम बनाएंगे, I will show you the final results also. So मैं आपको भी final results भी दिखाती हूँ. I'll quickly switch over the camera to the desktop so that you can see the final results. And I'm going to quickly tell you how they look like and how you can sell them as well. So this is how the buns will turn out to be. So जो buns हैं वो कुछ इस तरह के दिखेंगे कि मैंने दोनों buns ring में बनाए थे. This is how it's going to be. It's got a beautiful round shape. अच्छी खासी round shape आएगी इनकी. Perfect size आएगा. I will quickly cut one for you and show you the inside texture also. So bun हमारे बहुत ही soft, बहुत ही बढ़िया बनते हैं. इनको हम एक bread knife से cut करेंगे. We are going to cut it with the help of a bread knife, which is a serrated knife like this one. And you can see the inside texture. This is how it's going to look like. Absolutely soft, very, very, you can see the air bubbles yourself. It's super spongy. And this is how the whole wheat burger bun will turn out to be. I'm definitely having this for dinner. I'm sure you're going to love it also when you try it. I'm sure your family is also going to love it. So आप जरूर से ये रेसिपी ट्राई करें, जरूर से बनाएं, मुझे बताएं कैसी बनी. Don't forget to share your results with me on WhatsApp. I would love to see your results. If you face any issues, you know where to contact us. अगर कोई भी आपको issues होते हैं, आपको पता है हमें WhatsApp पे ही आपको contact करना है. आप हमें WhatsApp पे मैसेज कर सकते हैं, बता सकते हैं. कोई भी इशू आया होगा, I will be there to guide you. मैं आपको हेल्प करूंगी और गाइड करूंगी उस इशू में. And this is how the result will be. So who says that whole wheat breads are dense and not soft? You can actually make super soft, very, very fluffy and delicious whole wheat breads without any preservatives or chemicals. कोई bread improver, gluten powder, कुछ भी हमने यहाँ पे use नहीं किया है. एकदम plain, simple, classic whole wheat bread recipe is what we have learned here. Thank you so much, Harjeet ji. Thank you, Shalini ji. I'm glad you're loving it, but you have to try it to know how amazing they are. Okay? How to make mini buns without the ring? Mamta ji, use a cookie cutter. मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ. Please show that to you, sir. So if you want to make a mini bun, you get these cookie cutters in the market. आपको इस टाइप के cookie cutters मिलते हैं. This is about 2 inches. So ये 2 inches का cookie cutter है. इसको use करके हम mini buns बना सकते हैं. So if I want to make mini buns, I can simply make with this. So that is how you can do. Okay. Can we keep near sunlight rays as my kitchen is open so it has less warmth? Please share to cool in winters also. Muskan, like I said, you have to proof it in the microwave. It works in summers and winters both. I would not ask you to put it under the sun because it can get baked. So sun के पास नहीं रखना है. आप kitchen में ही indoors ही रखिए. आराम से microwave में 1 घंटे में proof हो जाए. How to store the buns? How many days can we store? So Sonia ji, that's a good question. You have to cling wrap individually. आपको एक single bun को cling wrap करना है. I will show that to you as well. So all you have to do, for example, if this is my cling wrap, I will cling wrap the bun. इसको properly cling wrap करना है from all sides so that there is no contact with air. After it has cooled down completely, पूरी तरह से ठंडा होने के बाद हम इसको इस तरह से cling wrap करके fridge में store करेंगे. So you have to store it in the fridge. You have to cling wrap it airtight so that there is no contact with air. Otherwise, the buns tend to dry out very fast. Otherwise, ये बहुत जल्दी dry out हो जाते हैं. After covering it properly, you can easily store it and you can keep it in the fridge for up to 5 days. आप 5 days के लिए buns को store कर सकते हो, cling wrap करके. Airtight container में रखोगे तो और भी soft करेंगे. At any time, if you feel that your bun has turned hard inside the fridge, just put it in the microwave for 20 seconds. It will be soft again. So कोई भी bun अगर आप बना रहे हो, bread बना रहे हो, अगर वो hard हो जाती है fridge में, तो आप उसको easily fridge से निकाल के microwave में 15 से 20 सेकंड के लिए microwave करिए, वो वापस से soft हो जाएगी. So that's a quick hack. If you ever feel that your breads have become hard, all you have to do is just microwave them. Not for too much because otherwise they'll become crispy. So you don't have to put them for too long. You just have to do it for about 15 to 20 seconds. That's it. And your bread or bun will turn soft. Okay. I'll quickly just finish off with the final questions. How to store, I've mentioned. Sell also, you cling wrap, put it in a brown paper bag and you sell two of these buns between 150 to 200. Thank you, Chindu ji. Thank you, Geeta ji. Thank you, Harjeet ji. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. It was lovely having you all on this wonderful evening today. In case we want to make sweet buns, how much sugar to add in this recipe? Sonia ji, you will add roughly about 4 tablespoons of sugar if you want to make sweet buns, and you can also add some tutti frutti. That will give a nice flavor. How to glaze these buns with sugar coating? Sonia ji, if you want to glaze them, you will have to make a sugar glaze. That's a completely different recipe. Not sure we can cover it today, and you can just dip the buns in. Thank you so much, Mrs. Menon. I'm glad you enjoyed the session. Thank you, Neena ji. Definitely try out the recipes. I'm sure you're going to love it. Thank you, Sagar. Shelf life of this bun is 5 days in the fridge. 5 days के लिए आप fridge में रख सकते हैं. Thank you so much, Ushali ji. It's lovely, lovely having you all. Um, Thank you so much, Shalini ji. Thank you, Sangeeta ji. And thank you everyone for joining in. I'm going to quickly take your leave. So thank you so much everyone who joined us, took out the time to join us on this lovely Saturday evening. Tomorrow is Sunday. Tomorrow is the weekend. I hope you will definitely try out the recipe on Sunday because it's a holiday for everyone. So no excuses for not trying these. So make sure आप जरूर से recipe try करें because you know everything is fresh in your mind today. And if you try tomorrow or today, you will be able to get best results. सो आज सब कुछ आपको जो मैंने बताया वो एकदम फ्रेश है आपके माइंड में. आप आज या कल में ही ट्राई करोगे तो आपको बहुत अच्छे रिजल्ट्स मिलते हैं. एंड देन व्हेनेवर यू ट्राई आउट डोंट फॉरगेट टू शेयर अ पिक्चर विद मी ऑन व्हाट्सएप. आई वुड लव टू सी योर रिजल्ट्स एंड लव टू सी दैट यू ट्राई आउट द रेसिपीज. सो अगर आप ट्राई कर रहे हैं तो जरूर से मुझे मैसेज करें, जरूर से फोटो भेजिए ताकि मैं उसे देख पाऊँ और ये भी देख पाऊँ कि आपने ट्राई किया था. ओके. Apart from that, like I mentioned previously, I'm going to quickly repeat it. Our Millet Breads workshop is on 14th of June, which is a Friday in the coming week. Don't forget to join it and avail the special discount, which runs only for 24 hours, where you can get this workshop for only $299. All you have to do is WhatsApp us that you need to register for this workshop. So अगर आपको रजिस्टर करना है इस वर्कशॉप के लिए, आपको मेरे को मैसेज करना है, हम आपके साथ डिस्काउंट कोड शेयर करेंगे, उसको यूज करके आप डिस्काउंट अवेल कर सकते हैं. So thank you so much everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day ahead and I hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead. So आपका अच्छा दिन गुजरे और वीकेंड भी बहुत अच्छा गुजरे, मैं ये आशा करती हूँ. और मैं जल्द ही मिलूंगी आपको एक नए सेशन के साथ. So I'm going to quickly meet you guys with another session. Hopefully I'll see you all in the Millet Bread session. So do join us in the upcoming workshop and I